Can I turn to another of the famous or infamous DNAs, this time involving Zahid Hamidi, whom, as you know, was charged with breach of trust, corruption, money laundering. The case had advanced. It was charged when you were AG, right?
Yes, I charged him.
The case had moved along, 77 days of trial, 114 witnesses, and then suddenly the charges against him were withdrawn, as you know, and the judge was obliged to give him a DNA. You might remember it caused such an uproar. People were really furious. While the AG refused to say anything, the Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim, said that the charges against him were, I quote, questionable, not carried out professionally, and were politically motivated. The PM also said the charges were so flawed that it bothered the former AG, Attorney General Harun Idris, that he felt he had to dismiss it as one of the last things he did in office. It sounded like the Prime Minister was publicly rebuking you, and you never said anything.
Actually, I can't remember him saying that, but I'll come back. But I think what I would say is that the most important thing about the Zahid case is that it involved taking money from charities. I think there's over 200 million to the best of my memory. And we called, I don't know any number of witnesses. We had a terrific deputy DPP in-house, Raja Rosila. She was absolutely terrific.
Yes, who was replaced.
Later, yeah. So she was terrific.
At the last minute.
Later, much later.
Yeah.
And then most importantly, defense was called. Now, one of the problems about the criminal proceedings, as opposed to civil, is that a prosecutor has to ensure that when he completes his case and closes the case, must be aware that the defense will always exercise its right to say the prosecution has not proved its case. And that is a tough challenge. Any prosecutor will be concerned about that. And yet, the defense was called. And Raja Rosila continued. And the defense called any number of witnesses. I don't know how many witnesses they called. And then it was going on slowly. And then one fine day we read in the press that Raja Rosila has been replaced or had resigned or something.
Replaced?
I can't remember much.
She was replaced and she refused to say anything about it.
Yeah, correct. And now she's in the bench. And then she was replaced by somebody else. So to say that there was no case is absolutely without legal or factual foundation because defense was called.
I think, in fact, the DPP at that time, who was in charge of the case, is the current AG.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, he is the current AG, and he actually asked for a DNAA, although the judge has ruled that there was a prima facie case against Zahid. So that is what was extremely surprising about the whole thing. You know?
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, one of the reasons that was mentioned was that they were going to set up an RCI to look into your book and you and the whole thing. Whatever happened to that RCI?
Well, let me tell you, to the best of my memory, my book doesn't even mention Zahid's prosecution. If it had, it may be a one-liner. And so far as the RCI is concerned, I mean, I'm quite happy till today there is no RCI, but they had a special task force looking into it. But can I also say that you asked about the Prime Minister's remark, which I'm not hearing, but can I say that Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, our PMX, his wife was the Deputy Prime Minister in the administration I served. His party was a very strong constituent party in the administration I served. He was very much in the public news, Anwar Ibrahim. And I met him a few times. We met each other, we know. And I'm surprised that if that was his view, that he never came and said to me, look, Tommy, I've been talking to people and maybe your case against Zahid Hamidi is not strong.
Did you ever talk to him about the case or anything?
No, absolutely not.
Did anybody ever call you to ask you for your views?
No, absolutely not. So now to say, the first comment I would make is he was a member, it was his administration. And now 4 years later to say that, I'm a bit surprised.